everyone, this is the second devlog for my indie survival game called Magnite. In this devlog, I'm going to be setting up a basic inventory system as well as a farming system. Before we do that though, I should probably show you some of the changes that I've been making since the last devlog. As you can now see, along with these trees, we also have some rocks and some bushes. And the thing about this is that if I go ahead and swap to my axe, which I added, using the mouse scroll, which is temporary at the moment because I don't have an inventory system set up yet, and we go ahead and we swing the axe near the tree, we can see that the tree will shake a little bit and also let off some particles. And if I continue doing this, as you can see, we get some logs that burst out of the tree. Now currently I can't pick these up because there's no inventory system in place yet, and the same is true for the rocks as well as for the bushes. Now the best part about this is that I've also been implementing a save and load system, so I can load back into this exact same world at a later stage. I'm not going to be showing off that functionality just yet because I'm going to be doing it just now. But for now, I'm going to start getting to work on the inventory and farming system. For the farming system, my goal is to get a very basic implementation of farming setup so you can prepare the soil for farming, and then you can be able to plant the crops on that soil and for those crops to be able to grow, and then the inventory system at the moment will just be responsible for picking those items up and getting them to stack. So I'll show you that once I've done it. So before I decided to start work on the basic farming system, I decided that I needed to make some menu UI for the save load system, just so that I'll have something nice to look at while I was developing. I'm going to talk a little bit about save load systems in general, since they've always been something that I struggle with while creating games. Fun fact, one of the main reasons that my survival game that I was showing in the first devlogs on this channel failed was because I could not get a save load system implemented. And I often have to limit my games just due to me being scared of making save load systems. The method that I've been using for this game so far is by saving the data by serializing it using binary and then just deserializing it later when I want to load it back in. This technique was definitely not made by me, and if you want to make your own system like this, then I will link the Brackies video to it down below. Anyways, the big problem that I had to overcome was the fact that trees and other objects in this world are not actually generated with the seed like the rest of the world is. So I couldn't just save everything using one number, which is the seed. So what I actually had to do was to get the trees back loading in was to take all of this data and turn it into strings, because the binary system only supports the 4 data types and not Unity specific data such as vector 3s. And then I threw all of those strings into a list and read that data back in as integers later, which proved a lot more difficult than it may seem, and took me a while to get working the way you would expect it to work, and is still not perfect, but for now it worked very well and is good enough for now. Now that I have the basic mechanics of a save load system set up, it will definitely save me from more trouble further down the line as the project gets bigger. It's a day later now, and I'm very happy with the progress that I've made regarding the farming system. First thing that we can see is that I've got this very basic main menu set up. And this is 2 buttons currently, a button to create a new world and a button to load a previous world. I'm just going to go ahead and click create new world. And as you can see, we're thrown into a new randomly generated world. We still have our 2 tools from before, and if I go ahead and hit Q, we can see we now enter this build mode. And if I go ahead and hit click while I'm in the build mode, instead of attacking, we just place down this farmed soil block. And I can go ahead and place down a bunch of these in a row, which I'm actually really happy about. And we can also hit Q again to get out of build mode and go back into normal mode. The thing that I'm most proud about this is that if I go ahead and I exit and I come back in, create load world, we can see we still have our farm set up here, which I think is really, really cool. Before I go ahead and be able to get it so that you can plant crops on this, I think I should get a basic time system set up so that later on I can make a system to grow the crops. So I'll let you guys know probably in a day or two once I've done that. So it's a few days later and I'm happy to report that I've made progress both on the time system and on the farming system. As you can see in the top right, we have this time and we also have the date. I haven't hooked up the date yet, but as you can see, the time is ticking up rather fast at the moment, just for the sake of this recording. And the most important thing I've been working on is improvements to the farming system. We can still go into build mode with Q like before, and I've made some slight improvements to these farmed grass tiles, and I can still place them down, and so I'm just going to make a little farm quickly. Okay, so staying in build mode now that we have this little farm, if I go ahead and click again on these farm blocks now, we can see we get these seeds planted. And these are growing super fast at the moment, just again for the sake of this recording. And so obviously these crops wouldn't really grow this fast. This is just for the sake of the recording, and the best thing about this is that once they're fully grown, I can come in here and I can start getting the resources from them. Now obviously these are just dropping rocks at the moment because I haven't got around to making sprites for the wheat, but that's probably one of the things I'm going to be working on next. Now the next thing that I'm going to be working on is obviously, of course, drawing the sprites for these, but also getting started on an inventory system so that we can pick these things up and they won't just be destroyed, they'll actually be put into our inventory. So yeah, I'm going to get started on that. Hey everyone, this is going to be the last progress update of the video, and since the last one I've been making some very good progress on the inventory. You'll probably notice that we now have this hotbar at the bottom of my screen, and we have my two equipment pieces. First of all, we have the sword, and we also have the axe. And as you can see, once again, I'm using the scroll wheel to go between them, and it's showing me which one I'm currently holding with the inventory system. Now, the great thing about this is that if I go ahead and plant some crops quickly. Okay, so now all of these crops are fully grown and I can come again with my axe and start harvesting them. And first of all, you will see that they now have proper sprites. And second of all, if I go ahead and pick them up, you see they are stacked into my inventory like you would expect them to be. So there you go. You can see that I've got all of this wheat in my inventory now. And this also works for things like rocks. As you can see, we've got a rock and also the trees. So I'm actually really happy with this inventory system. It's one of the first inventory systems I've actually made for a game. And yeah, I'm just really happy with it. Okay everyone, so this is where we're going to be ending the second devlog. Next time I will hopefully be working on a more advanced inventory system as well as some crafting. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please consider subscribing. As of recording this, we're at 96 subscribers, so if we could get to 100 with this video, that would be amazing. Anyway guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you all next time.